Oh, man. All right, look, I do not recommend watching the Halo show first thing in the morning. The breakfast is the most important meal of the day. You need to have a healthy start to the day. Lots of water, healthy breakfast, some coffee. I had my coffee. But avoid this show at all costs first thing in the morning because this is fucking terrible. So I didn't get around to watching the show last night, so I'm watching it this morning. And as always, this is just my raw thoughts after finishing the episode, and my fuck was it boring. Look, I didn't think a whole lot of last week's episode, but I will say it was the best one of the shit that we've had so far. This one, we're going back to that 40, 50, or 50-minute length episode. I think last week's was better. These episodes should be shorter. It just seems to work a bit better for the show as well. So we have another episode with Chief out of armor the entire episode. This episode is just a whole lot of my feelings and Chief sad and angry and emotions across the board. And it does tap into some kind of interesting things, like they get into like the Genesis, well not the Genesis, more so the execution of the Spartan 2 program, which is something that I've said on this channel and many others have been saying during the live streams as well. In actual Halo canon, they make clear, definitive points of why you do not lie to Spartan 2s about how they were created, because when they find out that you lied, they will flip their shit. And that's exactly what happens. So this is, to me, this show thinks it's smarter than it really is. They're like, oh, look, we're showing Spartans dealing with their creation. It's like, yeah, but at the risk of shitty writing and just total disregard to, well, why didn't anyone think of this before? Whereas in actual Halo, that was established. Do not lie to them. Last week, we had Master Cheeks go to Superman punch Dr. Halsey, by the way. No butt cheeks in this episode, but there are some orgasm faces. So he went to Superman punch Dr. Halsey. And in this one, he straight up locks her in a room and threatens to douse the bitch in radiation. Why would you lie to Spartans? What could possibly go wrong? There you have your example in there. Of course, you do have Cortana that can, shut him down at any time. And when Cortana starts to figure out what he's doing, you could just start shutting him down. So that way, Halsey might be trapped in the room. But at least she won't have the threat of being doused in radiation. And then Cortana could radio for help. So there's a whole lot of silly things going on with that. A lot of this episode is also Halsey being fucked over by Paranovsky. Cool, whatever. But like I said, this show isn't as smart as it likes to think it is. It's really not. They try to do this setup thing where they try to trick Halsey into admitting that she's responsible for, well, she's the sole person responsible for the Spartan 2 program. Of course, we as the audience know that's not true. But then there's another part of this episode that deals with Maki. Maki, the human chick in the Covenant, which is still so stupid to say, and how she's surrendered herself to the UNSC pretending to be a Covenant prisoner. Of course, we know that's not the truth. And I just feel like the way like the UNSC doesn't isolate her at the start. They keep her in the med bay with the other Spartans, especially Kai, who's injured. By the way, Cheeks is very distracted by what's going on in his own head, that he's not really doing much to make sure that one of his own Spartans is fine when she's clearly screaming out in pain. But they have Maki in the same room with all of them, in the same med bay. Like, I just think that's so stupid. I mean, if she came down from a Covenant ship, you have no idea. Is she carrying some sort of disease? Is there a bomb inside her ready to explode? It could be anything, and they just keep her in the same med bay. If there was a disease or a bomb, they're all dead there and then. But then when they get back to Reach, bringing her back to Reach is a pretty stupid thing when you think about it, isn't it? So they bring her back to Reach and they keep her in her own room. She's like contained to her own room, and we have Cheeks, John, talk to her. And she kind of puts the pressure on him, and she's all like, I know what you are. You're a blessed one like me. And she gets a little bit of an exposition dump. And then we get a bit of a flashback to episode 2 where Cheeks was talking to Ref. We all know Ref as the Jackal character. No, he's a black tweaker in this show. And yeah, they start going down that whole Blessed One bullshit again. No Covenant in this episode. I should just say that right now. No Covenant in this episode whatsoever. Whole lot of talking and feelings and exposition dumps. So pretty much John starts to crack the shits with Halsey and all that type of shit. It's a whole lot of John feels sad. And Maki kind of holding it over him as well. She's the dominant one in that room. She's the one that holds all the cards against him. She's the one wearing the pants in that relationship. Keyword on relationship, because something happens a little bit later that is absolutely retarded and hilarious at the same time. Okay, So that all happens. Halsey gets screwed over. Miranda takes over Halsey's role, which, my beloved Miranda, what did they do to you in this show? Stupid within itself. So that all goes down, and then I shit you not, man. Oh boy. The end of the episode. Okay. Maki kind of wants, she's trying to convince John, or Maki, whatever her name is, Uncle Ruckus of the Covenant, or Uncle Ruckus of the humans, actually. She's tried to convince John to take her into the Keystone, or the toilet seat room, as we're calling it now. Obviously, that's a bad idea, and even John's Master Cheeks isn't dumb enough to let that happen. But she does manage to convince him that he should go and touch it again, so that way he can see more of what happened to him. And, Miranda's kind of against the idea, even though they're a 1 in 2 billion match, John and Maki, and they figure that maybe they can use it to track down where the other Keystone is. So Miranda reluctantly agrees to it, and then as John goes to touch it, Maki has one of her Keystone toilet seat orgasms, and she goes into a seizure. And John starts tripping out a little bit as well. And they both seem to wake up on, it's like a vision, they wake up on a Halo ring. Now, I don't know if the Silver Timeline has one Halo ring, or how this is going to work, or if there's many Halo rings. I don't know if there's an arc in the Silver Timeline. I still cannot figure out how long the UNSC has been fighting the Covenant for on the Silver Timeline, because of all the contradictions. And with the Covenant having access to Maki, they don't really need to do that genocidal war against humans. But anyway, other rant. So they both have this vision, and they're kind of like having an out-of-body experience on a Halo ring. And they look at each other in a very romantic way. And Master Cheeks, ever so gently, puts his hand on Maki's cheek. And it's like, are they gonna fuck on a Halo ring? And that's pretty much the end of the episode. It's boring, stupid, doesn't really make sense when you think about it. A whole lot of talking and feelings, and someone in my Discord pointed out that the military police in this show, the MP on their chest looks like it was spray painted on, and it does. It actually does. Look, again, this is just my raw thoughts after finishing the episode. Obviously, I'll be able to give a bit more coherence when we do our breakdown on the weekend, so make sure you are there for that. Be sure to subscribe, bell notification on, like button, all that good shit. Let me know if you thought of this trash tier show in the comments down below, and I'll see you all later. This show sucks ass.